Hi, my name is Imo, and welcome to my channel In My Opinion, where I discuss creative outlooks to endlessly inspire hope, connection, and self-love. It's been a minute since I've posted a video on here, because life be lifin', a lot of things take over. But I wanted to get on here to talk about dating self-care. I feel like this is a very important topic. So last year, I was in a period of dating and I had a lot of instances and different things happening that made me feel mentally unwell at times. And yeah, just to be a little bit transparent, I guess, and to connect to you all. So I had a situation which I've talked about in maybe a couple videos where someone just completely ghosted me. We had maybe went on like 6 dates together, and we had been hanging out for like maybe a month and a half or about a month. And I had made a suggestion about the direction of our relationship because there was something that was really challenging for me in the relationship, and that led to me like just completely being ghosted, which was very shocking. And so that was one instance. I also had another instance where I had someone, we had been hanging out for maybe we went on like 4 dates, and after the 4th date he asked me to do an overnight at his house, but our relationship was not anywhere near suggesting an overnight. And after I said no, he got quite upset and started acting in an immature way. So that was another thing. And then just people lying on the apps about like their age and making inappropriate jokes. There's just so many things that happen when you are dating that you just need to take good care of yourself. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. And I know that the experiences I've shared, other people have had experiences way more concerning and problematic than that. So I should consider myself lucky. But whatever experiences that you have that are challenging, that are difficult, it's really important for you to take good care of yourself. So while the realm of dating, meeting people for romantic connection and possibilities, while it can be exciting and filled with a lot of potential and opening up of doors and your mind and your world, it can be very mentally and emotionally draining for so many different reasons. Some of us might be entering into the dating world again after the rupture of a relationship, and that relationship may have been a very significant one. So we are coming into the dating world from a very vulnerable standpoint. I think even just wanting to find somebody to share your life with and engage with human romantic connection can feel very vulnerable within itself. Navigating our needs and the needs of others can be a very delicate and intricate process, and a very sensitive one. And then we deal with all of the ups and downs of human interaction and exchange. People's habits, their mannerisms, navigating each other's needs, our insecurities, our fears, our triggers, our expectations, our perspectives. All of this can leave us feeling that we are in desperate need of self-care. So these are my self-care dating tips, and I'm just gonna get right to it. So number 1, it's all about your mindset. I feel that the more that I live, the more that I go through life, I feel that a lot of things come down to the way you think, the way you approach situations. So when it comes to dating, we are engaging our minds when we talk to people, when we interact with them, when we go on dates. And so we need to care for our minds. So one way we care for our minds is embodying healthy mentalities and mindsets and attitudes towards dating. So the first mindset that I feel is a healthy one is to embrace a holistic approach to dating and to meeting people. We often go into dating and much of our lives in general with very rigid and fixed outcomes and expectations. And I feel that having those very rigid and fixed desires and expectations and outcomes can be the cause of a lot of suffering for us. This is an idea of this needs to happen mentality. Like, you just need something to happen. Like, no, it can't be that, it can't be that, it can't be that. It needs to be this one thing. This is what needs to happen on this date. And we can usually tell that we have entered into this mindset by the way we react when things don't go our way. So if we get very triggered, if we get very emotional and reactive when things don't go our way, it's usually because we have a very fixed understanding of the way that things should be. So in embracing a more holistic approach to dating and meeting people, we understand that life is not rigid, life is not fixed. There's 1,000,001 things that can come out of any particular situation. Human interactions are vast and expansive and spacious. In having a healthy mindset, we let go of assigning a fixed outcome or expectation to a dating situation. And we see that numerous possibilities can come out of the experience. So a question you can ask yourself is, what else might this experience or interaction, this dating exchange, what else might it bring out of my life? So for example, if you think about a job, a lot of people might work, I guess. A lot of people might work because they need to make money. But if you think about it, making money is not the only thing that you get out of working. Jobs also provide the ability to grow your skills, grow your mindset, develop yourself. They're a chance to meet people, make friends, engage in a very rich community and find purpose. They're a way to serve your community and give back to your community, and so much more. Like, there's a million things that your job would develop and create for your life. And it's the exact same way with dating. Yes, dating is a chance to find a romantic connection, whether short or long term, but you also meet new people. You learn about all kinds of backgrounds, experiences, ways of living life. You enhance your social skills. You learn about how to deal with different types of people. You learn about your dates. You learn about their lives, their professions. You get out of your comfort zone. You try new things. There's so many things that you can get out of a dating connection or a dating experience. For example, last year when I was going on quite a few dates, I was also going through a very rough season of my life where I was experiencing a significant transition. And I really felt that the men that I dated at the time, when I told them about the transition that I was working through, they were very encouraging. They were very inspiring. They created a lot of affinity with me. They would share about their own lives and the transitions that they have also gone through. And I felt that was very healing for me. And actually, it was a very significant first step in my healing journey for the things that I was going through at the time. I didn't wind up with any of those guys that, I had dated, but I will carry their words and the feelings that I got from their encouragement with me. And those people very easily could have become friends, even if the romantic connection didn't continue. So again, one thing I would ask yourself, when things are not going according to your fixed plan, what else are you getting out of this dating situation? I may not be going on a second date with this person, but did I get to explore a new part of town? Did I learn more about my date's profession? Did I learn more about my inner world? Who I am, how I respond when a prospective partner doesn't want a second date, how I turn somebody down in a kind and gentle way. Life is never about only one thing. There are a million things we can learn and get out of any particular situation. What are you learning? What else are you receiving? So I'm just going to rapid fire some mentalities and mindsets that are healthy when it comes to dating. So another mentality is curiosity over judgment. So when you're going on a date and you meet someone who had a certain experience or comes from a particular background or who thinks in a certain way, just engaging curiosity rather than labeling or judging or like creating a wall or distance between the two of you. You would be surprised what you can discover when you just keep an open mind and remain curious. Like I said earlier, releasing fixed and rigid expectations. It does take a while to get to know someone, and sometimes you have already judged someone before you have gotten to know more about them. I'm not saying you shouldn't have standards and boundaries and protocols for the way that you do things, but in some areas it is okay to be a bit more flexible and loosen up a little bit. When you have expectations for something or someone that you know absolutely nothing about, it's almost like a losing game. You do not really know what this situation is about. You do not know what this person is or isn't capable of. You don't know their background. You don't know anything about them if it's a first date. You don't know what can even come from the interaction or what's supposed to come from it. So it's hard to put expectations towards something that has not been defined yet. Now, I'm not saying have absolutely zero expectations at all. Like, of course, someone should treat you like a decent human being and should be kind and respectful and polite to you. But there are some things, and you know what those things are for you, that you could be a little bit more flexible about. And you can even talk to friends and family to see if you can learn from them about areas that they might be more flexible in than you, and just take a chance and experiment. For example, someone might have an expectation, I might have an expectation that if a first or second date goes well, then my date needs to keep communicating with me and texting me a lot. Like, they need to be in constant communication with me. But the reality is that after a first or second, a third date, even a fourth date, you know, if you've not discussed the nature of your relationship, the dynamic, the direction, I can't expect for this person to fit into certain dynamics that we have not even negotiated yet. Another healthy mentality is compassion over critique. You're going to be meeting a lot of people who have been through so many different things, who look different from you, who act different from you, who have different mannerisms, and it will be important to extend compassion and empathy to that person rather than to critique them, circling back to the first one, or judge them very quickly. It's also very important for you to have compassion for yourself, for behaviors or mistakes that maybe you make when you're dating, things that you just didn't know about. Maybe you were so nervous that you forgot to pay for their coffee if you wanted to be someone who extends that gesture to them. Maybe you were so nervous that you snorted when you were laughing. Whatever it might be that causes embarrassment or guilt or shame or whatever it could be, to extend that love and compassion and acceptance towards yourself as well. In doing this, you are letting go of the things that may not be super significant in forming a meaningful connection, and you are extending love to that other person and yourself. So, other self-care dating hacks besides mindset. It's really important in general to have a self-care routine and ritual for your week, whether that means you read books, you engage in book therapy, you journal, you watch specific YouTube videos, you go on walks, you pray, you go to church, you engage in those self-care rituals and routines that are very vital and very important to you. It's so important to lean into them and do not make them negotiable. They need to be regular, they need to be compulsory and consistent. The dating world is very uncertain, it's very unstable. You can be in love with someone on Monday and by Friday you've been ghosted. So it's very important for you to show up for yourself and rely on yourself. And I have a couple of videos that I will link here that can give you some ideas on how to do this. It's so important to develop and to keep developing, growing that inner safety and stability. Another self-care hack is to date yourself while dating others. So what does this mean? It means inviting your date to things that you would already want to do and be interested in, or you have a plan of doing. For example, if I love ballet and I was gonna go see the Friday night ballet show anyway, why don't I invite a date to ballet, or invite a date to my gym or to my fitness class or to a hike that I was interested in going on or to a cooking class that I was going to partake in. In this way, you are getting to enjoy yourself because you are engaging in the hobby or activity that you already enjoy. So you're gonna have fun no matter what, and your date is getting to see and understand this part of you, and you get to see as well if you and your date have mutual interests and if you can enjoy things that you both already do and both already like. When you date yourself while you're dating others, you are also engaging in the relationship that you have with yourself while you are dating this other person. So for example, you're learning new things about yourself. You're learning how you respond in these dating social interactions. As you share about who you are, you're kind of solidifying your values because you're having to speak about them to somebody else. And there are things you're gonna realize that you probably didn't even know or didn't expect or didn't anticipate. And that's another way that you are dating yourself. You are learning yourself through these instances. So it's really good, like on these dates, to come home, to journal, to set goals for yourself, to set visions for yourself. Maybe you realize that on your dates you can be quite particular and quite judgmental. Maybe that's a goal you want to set for yourself next time, to let go a little bit, loosen up a little bit more. Or maybe you want to try some new things on your dates because you realize that you get really stuck in your comfort zone. Another self-care hack is to take scheduled breaks. Now, I know that when one is on dating apps, it can be almost a mindless thing where you go to the app quite regularly, multiple times throughout the day. You see a notification, you open up the app, you want to know what's going on. So I would say take scheduled breaks in the sense that set times where you go on the app. Maybe you go on the app at the end of the day when you have finished your job, you have done your self-care routine, you have engaged with your friends. Now you're going on the app at the very end of the day. Or maybe you only go on the app certain days of the week and you keep other days of the week free for yourself, especially if you find yourself to be someone who is quite obsessive or can be obsessive or have more of an addictive nature. It might be good to set aside specific days that you go onto the dating apps. Meeting new people can be very exhausting. When we meet new people, we meet their backgrounds, their experiences, their trauma, their triggers, their interesting and quirky behaviors as well. It's important to take breaks from dating or from apps to develop more of a relationship and more stability within yourself. And it's also good to just have a mental reset and a cleanse from all of these energies, whether they're good or whether they're unpleasant energies, all of these energies that are coming at you. It's really important to take a cleanse from them and to not rely on them, because sometimes when you're on apps, you might get fixated to the attention that you're getting and the rush of like dopamine or different chemicals that are coming in, and it's good. You don't want to get like addicted to these things. In taking breaks, I also mean taking mental breaks. So that might mean paying attention to where you are putting your focus. For example, you might be dating someone and something happens. You have a communication mishap, there's a trigger, things don't go according to plan, and it's all too easy for our minds to fixate, overthink, ruminate, replay the scenario over and over and over. And so when I mentioned taking breaks, when it comes to dating self-care, it's also purposefully shutting off the overthinking. So that might mean focusing more on self-care, spending more time with friends and family, investing in projects, visions and goals, doing more of your own focused self-care rituals like I explained earlier, just so that your brain does not continue to overthink a situation that you've already dealt with or thought about. And so taking breaks also means taking mental and emotional breaks and purposely doing activities and moving mentally and physically, so your mind is not overly focused on certain aspects of a dating experience. Balance is so important. Another self-care hack with dating is to try and meet people in different avenues and not be attached to any one avenue. I know it's really common in this day and age to be attached to dating apps because they're just a very quick and efficient and easy and convenient way to meet people. But it's good to meet people through other avenues, whether you join meetup groups, whether you join clubs, partake in university alumni events, whether you have hangouts at your church, whether you meet people through mutual friends, like you take one of your friends and you get another friend to grab one of their friends and you try and meet new friends together like that. There are so many different ways to meet people, and I think dating for romance is really just about expanding your circle and exposing yourself to more people and making it known that you are looking for a romantic connection. I know that for some people it can be like an embarrassing thing or a shameful thing to admit that you are looking for a romantic connection, but I don't agree with that. I think it's good to be transparent about what you're looking for, and the more that you put out there what you want and what you're looking for and what you're desiring, I feel like it comes to you, because people here say, oh yeah, I remember Imo is looking to meet someone and I have a friend who likes biking, like she likes biking. Why don't I create a hangout to get them to meet each other? That can only happen when you are open and honest about what you're looking for, what stage of life that you're in. Another dating self-care hack is to lean into your support group, your support network. So that could be friends and family that you trust. It could be your coworkers. It could be your therapist. It's really important to have people that you're able to talk to and go to for either sharing your experiences, getting advice, bouncing off ideas. It's good not to date in a vacuum because you're interacting with so many different types of people, so many energies, so many personalities, and it's so important to have your sounding board to bounce off of, to give you strength, to give you comfort, to give you care and empathy and compassion when you need it. So some people might be a little bit more introverted, maybe a bit more private and quiet with how they share their life. And I have found that another great resource in terms of a support group is even joining specialized meetups, online communities like Facebook groups, or engaging in parasocial relationships, like following accounts and groups where they talk about dating, so that you are getting a lot of ideas, you're sharing stories, you're able to associate and find affinity in other people's stories and feel comforted by the mutuality that you find in those groups and in those communities. I know that sometimes it can be really hard to open up to people and share what you've gone through. Maybe there's embarrassment, there's shame, there's guilt with choices or decisions that either you've made or the person you're dating has made. Dating can be very, very vulnerable, but it's so important to share with people that we trust. I think that the sharing can feel very cathartic, very freeing, and you'll be surprised how much connection you will find as you open up more to the people that you trust. Another self-care hack that is very important is to set boundaries. So we did talk about boundary setting earlier when I was discussing about taking breaks. That is also a boundary that you're setting. But it's important to also set boundaries connected to your values. So when you're dating, it's really important to understand what your values are and to set boundaries protecting those values. It's very important to set boundaries around putting your needs on people prematurely, whether those be emotional needs, sexual needs, physical needs, whatever needs they might be. It's good to get to know people first, to know who they are, to know where they're at in life, to know where you're at in life before you start transferring needs onto people or making them responsible for your needs. And I have done this so many times. Like I'm just getting to know someone. Yes, maybe we've gotten to know each other for a month, but I can see myself getting emotionally reactive and dependent on this person that honestly I do not even know. I've known them for a month. That is way too early to start freaking out and overreacting to things that do and do not happen. So it's good to slow down, decide and be conscious about what is best for your dating exchanges and your dating interactions. Figure out your prospective partner. Are they good at communicating? Are they an overly sexual person? It's important to get to know who the person is first and to set boundaries around getting to know them. For example, taking the relationship slowly will prevent you from putting needs onto them quickly. Like if you're just getting to know them and perhaps they already invite you to their house alone on a second date, and you do not want to put yourself in a position where you are physical with them early on, then you will need to set boundaries around those areas if that's something that you care about. Decide what is negotiable and non-negotiable, and take control and authority and set parameters. And last but not least, for dating self-care is to take your time and don't rush. Be more committed to the journey and the process than the destination. Enjoy and have gratitude and appreciation for the present moment, for every single date that you go on, for what you learn, for the activities that you engage in. Be mindful, be present, be there. It's really important to enjoy the dating process, because when you find that one person, that person that you decide to commit to, it opens up a whole other journey and a whole other world that you will then start embarking on. And that's a whole world within itself. But it's so good to enjoy every moment and every stage of your life. If that person that you're going on dates with becomes the one that you commit to long term, then you've enjoyed the whole journey right from the start. For most people, we are only looking for that one person. And it's good in a way to explore different things, to explore getting to know different people, to explore getting to know yourself and what you do and you don't like before you meet that one person. So those are my dating self-care hacks. I feel for all of my videos, I feel like they are just skimming the surface of the iceberg, and they are part of a larger dialogue and a larger conversation. And I know that you guys have so much to share. You've had a lot of experiences, come from so many different backgrounds. I'm interested to know, for those of you who are currently dating, or you were dating before, maybe you've met the person that you are with now, maybe you're planning to go back to dating. What are your dating self-care hacks? I would love to know. Please comment below. And thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. Please subscribe for more content. Bye.